Hi guys, I'm GTDae, the Average Joe Gamer, and welcome to the 9th edition of Wire, my weekly look back at the Star Citizen news and what I've been up to during the previous week. So over the last week I've been spending my time playing the 3.2 PTU and gathering some footage for my videos I'm working on. The PTU have been pretty good to me in general and I really had a good time playing. As of Saturday 29 June, 3.2 have been live. So if you are a backer with a game package, you can download 3.2 through the standard launcher and join us in the PU. From what I've seen in 3.2 itself, it is in a pretty good state, although some issues did crop up. One annoying bug that I found was not being able to use my mobi-glass while in a pilot seat. Another one was not being able to set a quantum travel destination in the star map. In both these cases, I switched regions to ensure that I got onto a different server and it did help. It is worth mentioning that since I started playing the 3.2 PTU, I didn't get the bug where your ship spawns without engines or seats. That was something that I was really happy about. So that was my last week. Let's move on to the weekly Star Citizen subscriber sponsored content, starting with Calling All Devs. The big topic that came up from Calling All Devs was the difference between piracy and griefing. Let me just start by saying that I myself want to explore the world of piracy and smuggling when the game eventually goes live. So this question is something really close to my heart. The main issue is to be able to identify what exactly griefing is and when you cross that line. That is quite a tough distinction to make because the community has wildly different views of what griefing is. As things stand right now, griefing will be someone spawning a ship and crashing it into another player's ship as he gets into it on the landing pad and doing so repeatedly. That is something that has happened in the PU for a while now. Another thing is to camp mission sites and killing all the would-be investigators or collectors, preventing anyone from completing the mission. In my opinion, as soon as you go out of your way to prevent a player from completing a game task repeatedly, you are griefing, especially when you focus your intention on a specific player or players. Such a player should be dealt with, and I've thought of quite a few ways that a player can be punished in Star Citizen. There will be several in-game mechanics that could dissuade players from griefing. First would be the simple method of law of the land. In UEE areas, killing folks would make you target for law enforcement. In pirate areas, laws will probably be more loosely enforced, but still, killing folks repeatedly unprovoked would certainly still be frowned upon. Bounties would also play a role. If you are repeatedly targeted by a player, putting a bounty on his head would probably make things a little tougher for him. That could be either a bounty issued by the victim or even the law enforcement AI. It will surely be pretty hard to grief someone if you yourself are being chased around by other players or law enforcement. Sure, that opens up more avenues for griefing, but issuing repeated bounties on someone is something that would be traceable, and at some point the devs should take away those privileges. Lastly, when things get a little out of the hand and the system don't dissuade players from these types of behavior, we should have the ability to report this type of player, leading to incremental bans of the offending user accounts. As Dan and Jared discussed, the main thing will be to find ways of identifying offending players. I don't know exactly how game design and development will do that, but I am sure that systems will be in place to identify these types of behavior. On the other side of the coin, I am sure that these systems could potentially get it wrong. Pirates camping a trade route might unwittingly target the same player on more than one occasion. Pirates will already be on the radar of the in-game systems, and it will be up to the pirate to play the game in a reasonable way. In such cases, we should also have a robust appeal system in place to make sure that we don't get unnecessary bans happening. I'm not a game designer and I don't know how these systems should be built, but CIG has a talented team and I am pretty sure they will get it right. Next, we will check out some of the news from around the verse. As per usual, at the end of the month, Around the Verse is focused on Squadron 42, and this episode was a brief update on the project. Nick Elms admitted that as things are going forward, it is a lot tougher to show us what's going on without spoilers. In some way, that is quite encouraging to hear because that means things are moving forward at a good pace. But in another sense, it is quite frustrating when you hear Chris Roberts saying in RTV that we shouldn't expect Squadron 42 in 2018. For now, I think we should just grit our teeth and ride out the wait. So let's look what's up in Squadron 42 that they can reveal at this stage. This month, it is mainly about design and animation for Squadron 42. So the news is very sparse, But what I have found interesting is the idea of the so-called strike teams to focus on specific parts of the game. Simply put, a strike team is a team of designers, engineers, and animators that work together to complete a certain feature in the game a little faster. These strike teams are basically set up to focus on that feature and solve the problems until completion. Why this is so interesting to me is that it takes a gamer's approach to game design. A strike team is basically a dungeon or raid group taking on a specific challenge. Like a dungeon group, you have people with different skill sets to contribute to the problem solving. If it is done right, this could be a very efficient way of working, and that will help the development progress faster. Let's hope these strike teams have the required item level. Now moving on to reverse the verse. As with the launch of 3.1, Jared had Chris on the spot with him to answer some of our questions in reverse the verse. I have to say I really hoped for another feature survey, but with the packed schedule for 3.3 that might not be possible. Let's be honest, with some of the massive features we are expecting for 3.3, we don't want to add more stress by asking for something they didn't plan on releasing in 3.3. So let's take a quick look at some of the more interesting bits from RTV this week. One of the biggest features scheduled for 3.3 is object container streaming. If you look at the roadmap for 3.3 under Core Tech, there are 5 sets of tasks based on object container streaming. Chris said that OCS is absolutely required to bring Hurston and its 4 moons to the PU. It is so important that if OCS is not complete, Hurston will not go in the game. The reason is that computers with less RAM won't have the resources to store the required data. How OCS works is that it caches data of all the entities closest to the player in the memory, and as you move further away, these things get removed out of memory. So basically, if you have more RAM, your computer can cast a wider net of what is stored in the background. OCS is the big ticket item for 3.3, and it might come to the PU at the expense of other items on the 3.3 roadmap. So with Hurston, its moons, and other content coming in 3.3, it will be the biggest content patch so far. Over the coming months, keep an eye on the roadmap to see if things are moved out of 3.3. If it does happen, we will know it is because of all the work going into object container streaming. CIG updates the roadmaps on Friday, so be sure to visit it regularly to see where things stand at robertspaceindustry.com/roadmap. While Chris and Jared was on the topic of OCS, it was asked if capital ships will be available after the addition of OCS. Chris kinda said that capital ships in the PU is possible already, and that OCS will definitely make it easier to have them. But Chris also said that we shouldn't expect capital ships in the PU in the near future. To me, this was a major bummer because I would have loved to see something like the Idris flying through the PU. One of the main reasons the Idris can't be in the game is because it's still not finished. Another reason is that the Idris as it exists now is mainly Squadron 42 focused, and that it would need to be adjusted to a more generic version before it can go in the PU. So that means that we won't see cap ships this year, and I can only imagine what a huge undertaking it must be to build such a big ship and make it usable in game. So the OCS for me was the most interesting part of the conversation, and also one of the most important features for the game right now. It has become more and more clear that it is one of the biggest stepping stones for the development of Star Citizen and Squadron 42. When OCS is in the game and running, CIG can start focusing on bringing more and more content to the game. So let's wish Chris and the devs good luck on completing these features in time for 3.3. So that was my take on the news of the week. Looking ahead at the week to come, I will be releasing my video tour of the Aegis Reclaimer, so you can keep an eye out for that. I will also look to finish my video on the subscriber flare. Another video that I'm working on is to show what you can do in Star Citizen Alpha 3.2. So as you can imagine, this week will be very Star Citizen focused and very little else. Another thing I'll be doing this week is getting more and more involved on social media, starting with Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram at GTDae, and you can find a link in the description below. There I will share nice screenshots of what I'm up to in the game and some previews of upcoming videos. But again, thank you for watching this week's edition of Wire, and I hope there was some content that you enjoyed. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up below and a thumbs down if you didn't. Comment below on what you like and what you dislike, and I will make an effort to improve. In the video description, you will find links to all the content that I've covered today, and while you're down there, check out my other social media channels like Instagram and Twitter, where you can follow me to see what I'm up to. I would also massively appreciate it if you would support me on Patreon, and thanks to the few of you who are already doing so, you are my absolute heroes. You can check out my merch store at designbyhumans.com/GTDae. Thanks again for watching. I'm GTDae, the Average Joe Gamer. Stay awesome, and I will see you in the next one.